Hi,
Hello there.
I'm Siobhan.
I'm Inam.
Welcome to Mistresses. Shall we say the cameo? Today's episode is potentially quite triggering as we deal with mental health, as well as touching very vaguely on suicide medication and the help that's needed, intervention. We'll be chatting to Roger Crichton, a very good friend, and his struggle with depression and how he existed before and is now living with it. Let us know what you think in the comment section below and enjoy. But thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
I do think it is an important subject that we needs to be spoken about, and you don't get many people who are brave enough to talk about it.
Yeah, I think it's important, and I will take any opportunity I can to share. I think we don't talk about it enough in general in our but certainly not as men. I think men and mental health, I think might still be a significant stigma to it.
Yeah.
But there certainly was when we were younger. Depression was something for weak people. It wasn't an illness that people get, that some are maybe born with or they get over time, but it's not necessarily something that's definitely not a choice you make. I didn't choose to be ill.
Yeah.
I might have chosen to stay ill. I might still choose to stay ill by how I live and what I do in terms of getting better, but I certainly didn't choose to be like that. I'm not sure if it's hereditary. I'm not sure if it's my father definitely suffered with depression all of his life. I wouldn't be surprised if one or two of my brothers are suffering with depression, but I definitely have. And now knowing a little bit more about it and knowing what I know now, all of my adult life, for sure. Looking back on having absolutely no ambition, and that could also be a result of my upbringing as a child. We lived from hand to mouth, so it was perhaps ingrained in me to live from hand to mouth. Don't worry about 3 months from now. Don't worry about setting goals from an academic perspective. Don't worry about setting career goals.
It's about survival.
It's about, I've got to just get through today. So that has an impact on one's outlook. Certainly had an impact on my outlook. I think I might have mentioned earlier that I had, as a teenager, as a early 20s, I couldn't comprehend living further than 35 years old. I was going to die one way or another, and I had absolutely no ambition to do anything other than that. My breakdown was likened unto cardiac arrest. The impact that it had or has on your psyche, on your body, it's like a triple bypass. That's how I explained it to me. So that's how bad it was. Yeah. So what the psychiatrist said to me is it should take you 8 months, 12 months to start feeling healthy again after what you've been through. I was fortunate, very fortunate. A lot of those things that have happened to me are very, very fortunate. Is that from there, so I had a very understanding work environment. I told my boss, he understood, there was no issue, everything my team knew, so the business carried on, there was no major issue, so that's another big plus. And then we went into lockdown. So you can now imagine I'm at home. I don't have to worry about work because no one's working. The world is in lockdown. The world is literally... So I tell everyone that the world went on lockdown so I could get better.
Oh, it's very kind of everyone.
I will never forget it. Thanks everybody that suffered for me. I'm really grateful. But it allowed me the time and the space to continue my reload of my data, to build that relationship with my boys again. At one stage, Connor said to me, he's my oldest 12-year-old, at the time he was 11, I think, and he said to me, "Yes, Dad, it's so good to have you back." Oh. So I was gone. I was there, but not there. And okay, so my son is quite intuitive, like his mom, and so he knew, and we always told him. We told him that I was in the clinic. Well, my oldest son, the youngest son, a bit younger, wouldn't understand, but he knew I had a breakdown and I was in clinic. And I don't know if he knows what my plan was, but he knows I had a breakdown. He knows I suffer with depression, or I live with depression, better way of saying it. And yeah, I said it's good to have you back. So my saving grace was the intervention, good medication, good therapy, and a good lifestyle. I never, ever, ever, ever want to have those feelings again. I never want to be in autopilots again. I never want to not enjoy walking around the block with my boys again. So, and if it means I'm on medication for the rest of my life so that I can enjoy my life, I'll take it for the rest of my life. It's sad that the medical aid doesn't see it as chronic medication.
That is one of my...
It's another fight we'll have, but so it comes out of my savings. But my wife and I have come to peace with the fact that if I need to pay for my medication out of my savings for the rest of my life so that I actually live and I make a contribution to my family, an emotional contribution to my family, because financially I was, logistically I was driving and fetching and taking to parties and whatever.
You're doing the chores.
I
You
was
were
doing-
ticking the boxes.
But so I was doing it, but now emotionally I want to be connected.
And you're present.
Yes, that's a great word. I'm now present. Not always, and I need to, so I've got a little reminder every now and then. I've got little things that just remind me. I go back to my therapy, go back to my book, and it'll probably be something I'll have to do for the rest of my life until it becomes...
It's a work in progress.
Absolutely. So what am I saying?
That we all are.
Depression is real. It's alive and it's well. Mental ill health is a serious pandemic, and it's real. And if I could come through it and live with it, because I live with it, hey? It's not gone. It's there. I live with it. If I can live with it, after 40 years, so how old am I now? 48. Am I right, John? 48 years old. So for certainly 20, 30 years, 35 years, if you like, of that time, I've lived with depression. I nearly died because of it, and I didn't live with it. I survived with it, is probably a better way of saying. And, I have no doubt that there are other men, fathers, boyfriends, girlfriends, wives that are living like I lived. And I keep stressing the word living, that existed like I lived. And you don't have to. The symptoms there of just living, you might live like that for 10 years, but somewhere down the line, life is going to happen. And when life happens to that person and they've been living like I was living, and that trauma comes and the autopilot can't get you from A to B anymore, that's when the crisis hits. That's when the crisis hits. As I said to you, I didn't know of that, of anything other than just, oh, well, that's life, Good things happen, bad things happen. I enjoy this rugby match, I don't enjoy that, But not experiencing it. My memory was because of, I'm convinced, because of depression is so bad. There are certain things that my friends remind me of. No ways.
I was there, but I was not really there.
Give you an example. So now we get back to work. After lockdown, we started to get back into certain things. We started doing certain things, and I look at a particular strategy that our sales team is taking, and I think, okay, what's happening? So I say, hey, where did this come from? I said, you, but really? No.
You wrote it.
Yeah. Do you remember when you went to see that customer? I go, yeah. No.
Yeah, of course.
No idea. So, and that is still something that's coming better, getting better. I need to focus on the detail of things. I need to be living the moment. I need to be present. So a bad thing might happen to me today, and that does not make the day bad. It makes a part of the day bad. And for me, my thinking was the day's a stuffer. And depending on where I was in my health cycle, if I was because it was. I mean, for most of us, it's up and down. In my case, it was down and down. So it was never manic. Manic was the crash. So it was never not bipolar, down, up and down. It was always this. Okay, always this. And then when I'm here, if something bad happens, if I can do 12 great presentations at work, but if there's 2 negative comments, that would be my focus. I'm bad, I can't do this, why am I, I have no ambition. And I've got quite I've got quite a charismatic personality. I can hold a conversation. I can captivate an audience, and I could have been so much. Not that I necessarily want to be, but I could have been so much further in life because of my abilities, but because of my lack of self-belief, which no one would ever understand. My lack of self-confidence, which people say, "Don't talk shit."
Like, you're amazing. You're great. What do you mean?
But inside, I would much rather just, be the joy, he's a nice guy, make everybody happy. If I'm at a party and there's one person that's unhappy, I'm going to go to that person to make that person happy. Because if I'm focusing on that person,
Then I don't have to focus
I don't have to look in the mirror. I don't have to look at the challenges in our relationship because I'm sorting out.
Just a question. The way that you're describing it now, was it any way based on because you're the man of the house, because you're male and you see yourself as the caretaker of your, not caretaker, but you need to have this sort of role for your kids, for your wife, for your community, and it's easier to be playing that role, even if it's like behind the scenes, not really being present or whatever.
100%. Now, not because of the pressure of being the father, there's those pressures. I've got a very, very independent and successful wife, mother, businesswoman. So that there was never pressure. I've got to obviously make my contribution and pull my weight. But it was easier to blame and to handle other issues than my own, for sure. I remember in therapy. At one stage, the therapist saying to me, "But you're deflecting. You're wanting to help that person because you don't have obviously, I don't think she used this word, she wouldn't do it, but you don't have the balls to fix yourself." My wife would have told me that straight. You don't have the balls.
I need to meet your wife.
You don't. To handle, to work on yourself, because that's where if you're okay, if you're good, if you're self-aware, that then relates. Then you can sort out other things. But you can't, and your nature is one of help and care, and that must never change. But don't help and care with others so that you don't have to help and care for yourself and for your wife and for your boys. Don't be a hero to everybody else, but a villain in the home.
And that's where it comes in on being enough for you,
100%.
and loving you. It's a hard thing to actually come to terms with, to know that you are actually your own worst critic. Absolutely. And your own worst enemy, and to try and be enough for yourself, you have to sit with a lot of shit and work through a lot of shit, and it's stuff that you have bought and sold to yourself.
Absolutely, yeah.
That is not necessarily truth, and it's to sort the truth from the lies, and to go, okay, look, yes, I do realize I have these traits that are not exactly desirable, but I'm still whole and complete.
Yeah, and you got to get past your own noise.
Yes.
To listen to other sounds, you've got to get away from your own distortion.
Yeah.
It's like going through space with it's like the whole, and then once you're through the resistance.
It's difficult because for me, what I struggled with in my youth was what other people thought, and also not being a burden by sharing how I feel to others. I'm just like, if I am the one that speaks about, oh, I need this attention, or I'm, I have these different thoughts and I'm scared of, what I'm thinking about, it was easier to just be like, no, what are they going to say? Or, they're going to judge me, or never mind judging me, they're going to judge my parents. They're going to, put it on other people that I'm not raised well or whatever. And it became a struggle that I was having internally. It was literally like that on-off situation when it's like, tell them this. It's like, no, they're going to say this. Okay, tell them that. No, all of this is happening in my head. Like, I'm not speaking out to anyone at all. And then at the end, it's like the angel and the devil's thing, internal conversation. And then the darkness would win. And, like, don't say anything to anyone. Just keep it to yourself.
Yeah. You might have to be on medication for the rest of your life. And again,
either way, it's fine.
Exactly.
As long as, and I think this is a big thing why we need to talk about it, just to take that stigma away.
For me, and this is the thing why I keep saying, it's like you go to the dentist for your teeth. Everyone has different experiences at the dentist. You go to your gynae. Everyone has different experiences with the gynae. You need
my
different
experience
things.
is definitely different from yours. It's definitely different.
Sir, it's a boy.
Definitely
With
different.
any other doctor, like in your body, you have an entire body, you go for different things. For your mind, you also need a doctor.
Surely.
So, and then some it might be the therapy, some it might need, you might need the medication for it. But we have different needs, and it needs to be that simple. Like, it's okay. Like,
But here's the thing with therapy. I was actually chatting to my ex about it, and I was saying that very often people have a negative experience with psychology or psychologists, and it's just because it wasn't a right fit. It doesn't mean you must give up on therapy.
No.
You need to find a psychologist or a therapist that clicks with you, that understands you and has your best interest at heart. Now, her
but like any
therapist
other
did
doctor,
not work for her.
but like any other doctor, your GP for your family, you choose the correct one. You have
it
a
works
fit,
for you,
because
yeah.
you'd have a few, and you're like, no, that one's awkward.
My sister went
That
to
one touched me in a
sister
weird
went-
place. That,
Again, I haven't seen that doctor yet.
Maybe you should go and find that one.
Yeah.
My sister went to a GP, and the normal GP that she goes to, and he was out, so the locum saw her. And she goes, I think I have a chest infection, because she was like barking at everyone. This is before COVID. And he goes, okay. And he takes the stethoscope and does this, puts it on her shoulder and goes, breathe in. And it's like, the fuck are you
what
doing?
is going on?
So it's like, yeah, okay, I'm not going back to him again. So it's the same thing. If you don't have a connection or a fit, then,
Go
ask-
for a different one.
Yeah.
But it's that.
But don't
also,
give up on the process. It's a process. Don't give up on the process.
It's that. So like, I feel like with the stigma thing, and then also the affordability of the stuff.
This is where my fuck you gland kicks in. I'm sorry. No, I'm
It's
sorry.
real. That's a real problem.
It's like you have no, man. You have state clinics, you have this, you have doctors, you have nurses, you have fucking hospitals.
But they don't prioritize mental health.
Yes. I mean, if you want state facilities, then you have to go to a mental institution.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to do that because of the stigma attached to it.
Yeah.
There needs to be something needs to happen, government. Something needs to fucking happen.
Thank you so much for watching and for joining us. Click the like button, subscribe, share, and ring the bell. No, not ring the bell. Click on the bell. Oh, wow. This outro intro stuff without an inum is very difficult. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us and have an awesome day. See you next week.